Hi guys, welcome back to another Hugh Jeffreys video. In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at this iPhone 6s that was part of a new sealed-in-box iPhone scam. This common online scam involves taking a refurbished phone that's likely filled with low-quality parts, sealing it up in a box, and selling it as brand new. I was given this one for free, as you can see here. In its current state, it'll only run off the charger, it's got a smashed LCD, a loose Apple logo, and the frame is slightly bent. When I was given this phone, I noticed a few strange things which I brought up with the last owner. They told me they had purchased the phone some time ago, brand new, sealed in plastic, from eBay, as it was cheaper than retail outlets. They also stated that they had no work done to the phone before, so they were absolutely shocked when I told them the phone was in fact not brand new when they purchased it, and they'd actually fallen for a scam. So let's get a closer look and see what the scam involves, and then open up the phone to see what's on the inside. Starting with the box, it's obvious to me that something isn't quite right. The illustration on the front of the box seems blurry, and after removing the phone, the box feels poorly built, unlike what you'd expect from Apple. As it turns out, this is a fake iPhone box, and a poor one at that. Originally, it would have come with its own pair of knockoff headphones, charger, and a cable. The box basically falls apart, and you can see the poor adhering job someone has done with the lower section. And with that removed, it exposes some bare cardboard, which you definitely won't see with an original box. The sides also come apart and appear to be just a piece of cardboard, poorly folded into shape. In comparison to an original box, you can see our fake has a few extra buttons on the right side of the phone. Both images on the front are embossed, however our fake is lacking in image quality, with the home button looking slightly off. As for the sides, both the Apple logo and text appear to be perfectly cloned from the original. Around back, the font is slightly different but contains all the same text. Opening up both boxes, you can see just how close they are on the inside. The Apple original is better fitting and higher quality, but it's easy to see how someone might fall for this scam and believe the phone is brand new, especially if they aren't paying close attention or have not seen an Apple box before. Coming back to our iPhone, I'll navigate into the About section in the Settings app so we can see the information on the iPhone itself. You can see it's a 16 gig unit on iOS 12.0.1. Looking at the serial and IMEI numbers, they are matching to our fake box, so they've gone to the trouble of making sure the box appears to match the phone. As you can see, after disconnecting the lightning cable, the phone immediately shuts off and enters a short boot loop until the battery dies about a minute later. To begin, I'll remove the two pentalobe screws at the bottom of the iPhone before applying a suction cup, which will give us enough room to insert a plastic pick or a spudger to be able to unlatch the display. Lifting it up, I'll first disconnect the battery to remove all power to the phone and therefore not fry any of the backlight circuitry. You can see the battery isn't glued down. This is because I had to temporarily fit another so I could back up the previous owner's data as they requested. This battery, however, was previously glued into place. But taking a closer look, you can see it's missing a piece of foam on the connector itself, which usually indicates a fake or used Apple battery, which in our case is to no surprise. Next to come out is our display panel. A couple of screws and connectors later, it's free from the phone. You can see at this point our loose Apple logo and the glue behind it, which is broken away. I also noticed at this point that many of the screws inside the phone were loose, which were controlling the power, mute switch, and volume buttons. The housing itself also has some Chinese stamp on it, which indicates it's likely not original either. Looking at the screen, you can see it's missing a screw down by the home button. I'll need to reattach the display and install a fresh battery so we can run a verification report on the phone so we can actually see if anything else has been modified. To do this, I'll need a Windows PC and a copy of 3utils. Here we can see the phone originates from Korea, which matches the Korean text on the back of the housing. Opening the verification report, we can see our replacement battery and that the front camera isn't original. This is likely due to a whole new LCD, which has already come with a new camera attached. Luckily though, it appears none of the logic board components have been messed with, like the NAND or serial numbers. I'll need to remove our new battery and get the old destroyed screen removed. I'll take out the SIM card tray and I'll start to remove several screws so we can take the logic board out of place. I'd like to take a closer look at this, make sure it's not some kind of refurb, and ensure it has no water damage or other issues. As this phone's been previously messed with, we don't really know what to expect here. Removing the logic board will also give me access to many of the screws which need tightening. Carefully lifting the logic board out of place, I can tighten up those screws around the housing. It might be a good idea to use some thread locker here, although I didn't have access to any. After that, I took a closer look at the logic board and you can see it looks untouched. It has no stickers or text anywhere that indicates it's been messed with or come from a refurbished factory in China. I have come across a few of these refurb boards in the past, like this one from another iPhone 6s, which you can see has a number of stickers and text printed onto it. With the screws tightened and our logic board good to go, I can place it back into our housing where I can connect all of its connections and route the antenna wire back into place. Next up, I can reinstall all the screws, securing it down into position. Strangely, with the iPhone 6s, Apple chose to use a bolt with a 2.5mm head for one of the screws securing in the logic board, thus requiring another screwdriver bit. After getting that Wi-Fi antenna back into position, I can then start to bend the housing back into place. As the phone itself is made out of aluminium, it's pretty easy to bend back into place. There was a small dent on the side, which I also tried to rectify, although didn't have as much luck. Our frame is straight, which means it's ready for our new display panel. I'll also clean up the Apple logo so I can get that back installed. I'll be using some adhesive to do so. I often get suggestions to use a type of glue called B7000. This is what I'm guessing was holding it into place the first time. I also believe this is the same glue used by most Chinese factories, which often falls apart like this iPhone screen or even my iPhone X camera lens, hence why I don't use it. Pushing our Apple logo back into position, it's now time to turn our attention to our new screen. I'll start by removing the home button from our old display panel. This one is paired to our phone and has functional Touch ID. If this is broken, you'll lose the Touch ID function as Apple pairs each sensor to the phone and makes it impossible for a user to replace it. Up top, I'll also remove and transfer across our earpiece assembly to our new display panel. Earlier, we confirmed this isn't the original one to the phone, but that won't make any performance issue to our device as it's only an iPhone 6s. With the newer iPhones, this would mean you'd lose the True Tone function if you still had it. Connecting up our bracket, I can screw it back into place. As for our home button, I will be replacing the gasket that goes around it, as I noticed the home button was quite loose in the old screen. Replacing this gasket will prevent the home button from moving around, which can cause the cable to rip. These gaskets can be purchased in bulk online for quite cheap. I can press our old home button into our new display panel and connect it into position. Reattaching the bracket, our screen is ready to go. Next up is to prep our new replacement battery from iFixit with a pair of adhesive strips, which I can press down into place with a spudger. With that good to go, I can install our new battery into place. One step that is often overlooked and was absent when we first opened this phone was the water and dust resistant seal. Unfortunately, a large number of phone repair places skip this very step. People like this give repair a bad name, but I aim to do the best repairs that I can. Carefully removing the protective film from the seal, I can connect our new display panel into position, as well as our replacement battery. With those connected, I'm able to test our phone before we seal everything up. You can see our screen is functioning and our phone is almost ready to go. Shutting the phone back down, I'll need to reinstall 2 more brackets, one over the battery connection and one going over the LCD connections. With those reinstalled, I can then use a microfiber cloth with a small amount of alcohol applied to it to remove any dust or fingerprints inside the phone. After that, it's time to seal up our iPhone by first aligning the top portion of the LCD into the frame and then pressing down at the lower portion. From there, we can press in the sides of the phone. With our screen seated into position, I can reinstall the 2 pentalobe screws back into the bottom of the iPhone. Cleaning out the headphone jack, I can then apply a fresh screen protector. And we're done. So this is it. Our scam iPhone is back into a functional state and is now equipped with a quality battery and screen. Just to demonstrate how common this scam is, jumping onto eBay and searching up iPhone SE for example, and sorting by brand new condition, the first listing I clicked on was from one of these scammers. You can see the negative feedback saying it's just a refurbed phone with new shrink wrap. I also found an iPhone 7, which is apparently a 32GB Red model. However, the iPhone 7 product Red never shipped with a 32GB storage option. And it's not just iPhones. The new iPod Classic is also flooding eBay. Dozens of listings, all the same kind of scam. And to no surprise, they're all coming from China. So my advice to you is to stay clear on any of these new products coming from China, because chances are they're not new at all. If you're buying new, stick to electronic retailers in your country, not just some eBay seller. If the price looks too good to be true, chances are it is. These scammers are going to great lengths to try and scam people like resealing a box. However, they always seem to be a bit sloppy when it comes to the finer details. Some key things to look out for is the build quality of the box. Does it match the phone? Is it in the wrong language, such as the phone is Korean but the box is in English? Look out for misprints and even run a verification report on the device using 3U-Tools to check for mismatched parts. Let me know down in the comments, have you or someone you know fallen for a scam like this? While the iPhone 6s is by no means the newest Apple iPhone, I believe this is a very important topic to share around to shed some light on these scammers. So share the video if you enjoyed it. And on that note, this has been a Hugh Jeffreys video. If you like what you saw, hit that subscribe button and consider checking out the phone restoration playlist for more videos just like this one. And if you're looking for some tips or what tools are used to repair devices, be sure to check out my website, link for which is down in the description. That's all for this video, and I'll catch you guys next time.